have been pretty decent recently. There's always Squirtle, who's been one of their mainstays in the team leagues. You can never count that guy out ever. But it looks like it is going to be a ZVZ up next, unless there's a wrong. And I think it might actually be Curious, but we'll wait for the KSL to translate that for us. Tal'Darim Ultra will be the map. And Dink.
Ooh, excuse me.
All right, who's next? Oh, it's actually going to be King Kong. Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh. Is that a name change from somebody?
No, he's always been around, but he's been more of a practice partner. I would say they've just specifically set him up with a strategy for ZVZ, especially on Tal'Darim.
Yeah. This has to be some form of a snipe. I wonder if he's going to try 6-pool Baneling all in. Something crazy like that.
On Tal'Darim? He gets to pick the map, remember? Why would you pick Tal'Darim? Yeah. I've stumped you, haven't I?
I mean, it still comes fast enough that if your opponent tries... The reason why I think they would go for Tal'Darim on something like that is that if Startale is red... Okay, yeah. So
good.
Dongrigu's going to be blue. King Kong's going to be red. They're confirming it in chat. But the reason why I think if you're going to try that strategy and you pick Tal'Darim is you want a map where somebody's going to be tempted to go hatch first. Because if they do, then you just straight up win. Even on a big map like Tal'Darim. So I really would not be surprised to see something like that from King Kong here. Try and just get Dongrigu out of the way with something really, really strong all-in like that. It's very difficult to stop in Zerg vs Zerg if you do the wrong builds.
Yeah. Alrighty, so let's get this underway, shall we? Oh, and I just closed my exploit instead of opening it. Alrighty, welcome back everyone. Game number 4 here for the KSL final. It is going to be MVP up against Startale. Of course, next we have MVP's Dongregu up against Startale's King Kong. And we actually have King Kong as our red Zerg over here in the bottom left. Tal'Darim Ultra will be the map. I am unstable, joined here by Railcoon today. And of course, on the right-hand side, we have MVP's Dongregu. Now, a lot of people are thinking this might actually be a snipe. It could quite possibly be. King Kong hasn't really had any exposure whatsoever outside of the C scene, simply because he plays in the C community tournaments and things like that. He usually takes down first place with no troubles at all.
I mean, he's a practice partner on Startale. That's not too surprising.
No.
And I'm waiting to see if, like, we're going to get a 10 pool or anything like that. No, he's actually not going for anything crazy aggressive, so maybe he just has really sick Zerg vs Zerg, and his other matchups just aren't quite there yet. And they think that he has a chance against Dongregu.
Quite possible. It also could also be this. The things people don't realize about these types of matches is that there's so many things that can go into the games. The current player's mental state, the maps they want to choose, the player, if they've got a rivalry or they really want to beat them, if they've played them on the ladder before and pretty much just hard countered their style of play in the matchup as well. But so far, both these guys going for the exact same builds here are going to getting gas at the same time. But look at that, Dongregu, 1 gas trip ahead. And believe it or not, that can actually be quite frustrating in ZVZ, especially if King Kong's trying to run away from Dongregu and he gets that little extra speed boost to get 2 or 3 hits off before the speed finishes for King Kong. Like, it does actually matter, people.
Yeah, that can be a really big deal, especially in some particular strategies where you're going straight to Banelings. Losing every single Zergling hurts.
Yep.
And if your Zergling speed's behind by 10 seconds and you lose a bunch of Zerglings while you're trying to retreat like that, then that can actually lose you a game. So
yeah,
it is just one of those razor-thin margins that can come into play here. I'm curious about this just because stopping and thinking about it and remembering back to Providence, watching Dongregu, his style of Zerg back then was actually pretty predictionary. I don't know if that's a word, but he relied a lot on predicting his opponents. Preemptive, yeah, there we go. And trying to guess as to what his opponent was doing as opposed to really reacting. So this could be a read on Dongregu as well. Maybe King Kong is just completely insane and he's impossible to predict.
Yeah, exactly. But both these guys are going for Baneling Nest, of course. And look at this. King Kong's speed is actually ahead of Dongregu's because Dongregu decided to go for the Baneling Nest first.
Oh, look at that Zergling micro. Neither player losing a Zergling. Oh my god, that was a sick battle there. A lot of back and forth with the Zerglings, but 2 more Zerglings pop out for Dongregoo. He's like, what now? Huh? Huh? Chases him away off that watchtower. Will morph some of the low health Zerglings into the Banelings because they heal when they finish. So that's actually very nicely done.
Defensive
morphing
spine.
the very lowest health ones.
Yep. Oh, we do have more engagements in the middle of the map, though. Dongregoo does have the Zergling count. And look at this. There is actually a Baneling being going off here by King Kong. Is it going to finish? Oh, that was very, very close.
Sniped by the Zerglings. Nicely done there by Dongregoo. And this is the problematic point, is this is where it just comes down to mechanics. And
well, look at this.
Dongregoo has some good mechanics, but what about King Kong?
Dongregoo actually doesn't have the Zergling count to deal with this. He's going to be able to be picked off, as we can see. 1 Zergling on either piece, but actually the one in the front's going to be taken by the Baneling from behind. Yeah, and Dongregoo is going to be shut down in that early section. He really wants to kill that Baneling. Nicely done by King Kong. And more Banelings being morphed by both players. 2 more coming down, but Dongregoo does have the unit count.
Good job so far. Dongregoo tried to dodge around these Banelings. Actually, King Kong has more Banelings at this point. Oh, but a Baneling hit there for Dongregoo. Dongregoo doing a good amount of damage. Almost actually getting some of the Banelings.
There is no Zergling cover for the Banelings at the moment, though. Here, Railco needs to be very careful. He's going to lose 2 of them to a Zergling apiece. And looking at the 17 Zerglings for Dongregoo, 6 for King Kong. Dongregoo does have that 1 extra drone. He's got those extra Banelings, of course, but it is ZVZ. One little thing can change it. And look at this, we actually see a run by King Kong.
One Baneling of Dongregoo got like 10 Zerglings, and that's, I mean, you could see instantly the game turned around. King Kong is sending his Banelings around, going straight after the mineral line of Dongregoo, but he has defensive Banelings here, and there are so many Zerglings and Banelings right in the main base of King Kong. Wait, completely around that spine color, going right after the drones. Not really going to be able to get a good hit off, but still going to do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, lots of trading going on, but these Zerglings for Dongregoo are starting to go low. Targeting
of Dongregoo. Dongregoo hasn't noticed. He's going to lose a lot of drones.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That actually puts King Kong in the lead in the drone count because he caught Dongregoo completely off guard.
Yeah, looking at it now. King Kong does have 1 less Baneling, 1 less Zergling, but he is actually even on drones at the moment because of that. He's also got the Spine Crawler at the front, does take out one of those Zerglings. And that was a very big turning point, unfortunately, for Dongregoo. He's actually taken workers off gas here at the moment. So has King Kong. So this is going to transition to something a little bit different now. And it's going to see who can get the...
just lost every single Zergling in the center of the map to 1 Baneling unstable. He has no units. Only the Zerglings that are popping out right now. So that actually is helping Dongregoo try and maybe put a comeback together. You see 7 Zerglings, 3 Banelings for Dongregoo against 4 Zerglings and 1 Baneling. A few more Banelings in production for King Kong, but he's going to try and snipe these Banelings.
It's not going to happen.
From the cocoon. No, he's not going to quite get it, but there are still 3 Banelings with some Zergling cover trying to get into the mineral line here of King Kong. He's positioning his queen quite nice. He's got some Banelings as well. And it looks, he's going to be able to get the drones out of here. And nice Baneling trade. Sending 1 for both the low health ones of Dongregoo.
Yeah, King Kong is actually still down by 1 drone. He does have the 2 Banelings there, though. Isn't as high. Actually, no, pretty much even. Oh, another Baneling hit in the middle of the map, taking out quite a few of King Kong's units. But, that Baneling did not want to go down right there. And now King Kong in a little bit of trouble because he's got... unless he gets that Baneling hit off on all those Zerglings. Almost gets it there. Does take out quite a few, though. I'm surprised Dongregoo lost that many Zerglings. And look at this. We now have 2 Zerglings coming in to try and take out the Morphic Banelings. It will actually force a cancel. Is he going to get the second one?
He gets the Zergling there as well, but the reinforcement...
surround on King Kong's Zerglings!
At the perfect time, taking out all those Zerglings. That will all give Dongregoo the cover to morph a lot of these Banelings. This is so close that neither player can tech. These trades are so cost-effective, and it keeps going back and forth, that neither player can afford to move out of the Zergling Baneling. This is a very unusual game.
There we go. King Kong going for the better trade!
Oh my god! Hit the X button! Oh my god, if he went for the manual explosion there, he would have completely taken out all those Banelings with only 2. Did not go for the manual explosion there. Could have been somewhat of an error. As
misclick.
mining for quite a while.
Two of those banelings went and actually hit the baneling nest there for a second. Not what he wanted to happen. The Zerglings are still in the main here for King Kong. King Kong is actually 6 supply down, but looking at the worker counts, he's only down by 1 drone here. Does have 4 banelings and even Zergling count. So looking back at the production tab, he's actually starting to try and squeeze in some more drones. Here come the banelings though. Oh my god, 4 for 2. Good.
That is really painful for Dongregoo, but like, once again, the banelings are without their Zergling support. Okay, there we go. They're going to come in now, and he's going after the one baneling of Dongregoo. He will get it. Oh, but there's only 1 baneling left for King Kong. He's protecting it the best he can with his Zerglings.
Does get it. Alright, so both these guys still going nuts on the Zergling production. 21 Zerglings for Dongregoo, 12 for King Kong. It's actually going to even out because a lot more in production as well. But neither one of them have any banelings just yet. 2 more in production for King Kong. He's actually splitting up his units. He's actually going all over the place. I think he's scouting for extra bases as they are going to engage in the middle here as Zerglings punching on with Zerglings. Really difficult to see who's going to come out on top. And oh, is he going to run these into the banelings? No, Dongregoo comes back, but he has dropped a hatchery behind this. Oh.
He's really flirting with those banelings, coming very close. Dongregoo like dances with something.
But he could actually run straight past these banelings into the main now. There's a hatchery. Is it? Dongregoo's going to get a force cancel. Nicely done. Doesn't pick off the drone though. Oh! Good night. All of those Zerglings for King Kong, and this is where it's going to change here, Relcoon. There is pretty much nothing in the main here to defend against that. And look at this, Dongregoo's protecting his 1 baneling. There is still another baneling for King Kong. Needs to be careful with the Zerglings. Doesn't want to lose them. Oh my god, that was really close. Taking out quite a few hits. There's more banelings coming in here for King Kong. And he's actually going to clean up these Zerglings a lot better than I expected.
Yeah, this is actually so close right now. Like, every time one player gets an advantage, and it looks like they might finally be able to press it to take the win, they get a really clutch baneling hit off. But if you look at this, I think we're finally starting to see the difference. Dongregoo has been sneaking out drones quite consistently this entire time. He's been keeping the pressure on King Kong. He's got a really nice worker advantage.
There's another cancel here coming in for King Kong's natural. This could be the death blow here for him. Oh my god, he actually hasn't cancelled it. He lost it. At the same time, banelings came through into the entrance here. Nice positioning by Dongregoo with that spine crawler. And this is all or nothing time now.
Right now, like it's 26 to 13. Actually, now it's 31 to 13. King Kong has to find a way into the base and hit this economy. If he can't, this is all over. So here he goes with the Zerglings and the banelings going after the natural. He's gonna get in here, get some damage on those drones, but it's only 1 baneling. He's not able to finish this off. The rest of the Zerglings are actually gonna get trapped in here in the main base of Dongregoo. And with that failing, Dongregoo's pulling further and further ahead. He's got enough economy to finally switch into the lair. He gave him a good fight for a long time, but in the end, it looks like Dongregoo just out-mechanicked him with the Zerglings and banelings.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very difficult for King Kong to come back in this one. He's bringing more Zerglings over, but like you were saying, Dongregoo now going into roaches. He actually cancelled that lair after the Zerglings disappeared. A little bit of a tricky move by Dongregoo there, of course. He's just so far ahead at the moment, it's not funny. He's actually got that spine crawler, defensive banelings, the 2 queens there as well. More banelings going through, and there's actually a second spine crawler behind us at the same time. Oh, he needs to be careful of those queens though.
He's just using the queens there to block, bait the Zerglings in, try and use that to get a good
Here come a lot of banelings though, straight into the mineral line. Actually, Dongregoo's not moving his drones! He lost a lot of drones there.
He's not going for the manual explosions though. That's going to be the one thing. He actually could have killed a lot of drones there if he just hit the X button. We've seen him miss a few of those opportunities already. He is going into the natural to try and continue to damage, but he's brought it back to 26 to 13 workers.
Well,
so he's still behind by more than twice the number of workers. The economy tab shows, the income tab shows the difference at the moment. 1,000 income for Dongregoo, only 400 for King Kong. Supply 51 to 25.
Roaches are out now for
Dongregoo. With the roaches
Dongregoo.
popping out, that's really not going to be
All that useful.
anything else that King Kong can do here.
We actually got a spine crawler from King Kong that's made its way all the way over here. He's going to be taken out pretty much instantly though by all these roaches. There's the GG, and Dongregoo takes his team to a 3-1 lead. King Kong definitely put up a really strong fight there, unfortunately. Couldn't pull it together in the end, but that's right. Dongregoo is not really that bad of a player to lose to and feel bad about. So nicely done by those guys. And Startale, who are they going to send out next, Railkun? They are going to be on the back foot. Down 1 to 3. Only 3 players left to play. They still have, of course, July, Bomber, Curious to play as well. Squirtle's there, but he's only going to be able to play 3 of those. And they've got 4 really strong players. Curious, Bomber, Squirtle, July. They've got Ace as well still to play. It's going to really come down to who they think can take out going as well.
I don't know. Like, I think King Kong, he put up a good fight there. I mean, better than a lot of other Zerg players would have done, even like A-teamers against Dongraegu. That kind of a long, drawn-out Zerg vs. Zerg is very, very stressful to play in. And he kept his cool for a long time. He did a really good job of it. It's just over the longer stages, you can see Dongraegu was sneaking out drones in between Zerg lanes and getting away with it.
Yeah.
And that's really what wins you those really long, drawn-out Zerg vs. Zerg games. So it was a good showing by King Kong. I was actually impressed since I hadn't really seen him that much. Didn't expect him to give Dongraegu that good of a game. But he put up a good fight.
Absolutely. So let's find out who Startale are going to send out next. Of course, these games are live. So bear with us, guys, as we let Startale pick their next choice. All right.
Startale does still seem to really like holding Bomber for last. They've done that relatively consistently so far. So probably not going to see him next, just because they really just seem to like relying on having him there in the anchor spot.
Yeah.
Having him as the reliable guy sitting to pick up the pieces if everything starts going wrong.
All right. Now, this guy in chat has been right every single time, so I'm going to go with what he's saying. It's most likely going to be Squirtle up next.
Yeah, makes sense.
Unless he's just in the chat and reading the Korean. That's probably what's happening. It's cheating, man. It's cheating.
I haven't seen them say anything other than the standard, you played very well in chat in quite a while, though, so...
Alright, so... It's going to be interesting here. Like, really, I do like the fact that Dongraegu was sent out to take out Parting. That definitely would have been, like, the best choice. So... okay. We're just waiting on the player choice here. Oh, actually, the game is going. Why do I no invite yet?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been waiting for you to
download
get
the map.
So
Why do I have to download the map? I've got every...
What map is it? Download faster so I can join on you. Jeez.
It is going to be a different version of Daybreak.
Really?
Yeah.
What's different?
I don't... Well, the only reason I say different is because I had to download it. That's what I mean.
1.8, it says.
Alright, it is going to be Startale Squirtle up against MVP's Dongraegu next. This is going to be a good one. Startale Squirtle. Bam. Protoss. Blue. Red. Zerg. Alright, let's get this going. I don't want to wait anymore. Hurry up.
I'm looking at this map trying to figure out what's different. I don't see anything yet.
Who knows? Who knows? Railgun? Okay, so Squirtle coming up against Dongraegu. They're just making sure the players ready, and then we'll get into it. It's going to be on Daybreak, but Squirtle definitely a mainstay for Startale in their team leagues. Even though a lot of the other players do get a lot more face time in the GSL, you can't count out these guys who maybe have nerve issues playing at Codec qualifiers. Perfect example would be FXO's Whale. That kid is insane.
Oh my god. When he finally figures out his nerve issues and starts playing solid, oh my god. He's going to take some people by surprise.
Absolutely. But these guys still do really well in the team leagues because they're not in the booth. They're not... It's not a big thing. If they lose, they got their teammates to back them up. But anyway, countdown has started. Let's load this game and get into it. And I will find out what's different about this map, if anything at all. Probably just like a 1 pixel is different, and like, yay. Okay.
Yeah. Somebody's saying the gas has changed on third base, but that's not true, because, yeah, there's clearly the same gas. So I have no idea what's different about this version of the map. It's probably just a slight difference, like some little doodad got changed.
That's right. So, welcome back, everyone. Game at number 5 here between MVP and Startale for the KSL. This is the final of the Team League, of course. Best of 11. Currently 3-1 in the lead is MVP, with Dongregu leading out for them now as their Red Zerg. And of course, Startale on the back foot, coming in with Startale Squirtle next. A very mainstay for his Team League, as we've stated before. Going to be our Blue Protoss, PVZ, Daybreak. Let's get this one going, shall we, Railcoon?
Sounds like a good thing.
Sounds like a good thing. Alright, looks like we are going to see a Forge expand coming out from Squirtle straight out of the gate. But
yeah,
not all that unexpected on this game, on this map.
No, not really. This is just a really solid map. The map pool right now for Protoss vs Zerg, there's not really any of those oh my god, like Protoss favored maps. The Calm Before the Storm is mostly Protoss vs Terran that is pretty crazily tilted for Protoss in.
I thought you were actually going, oh my god, it's something in the game for a second. I'm like frantically looking around, what are you oh my godding about?
No, I was saying it's not like oh my god crazy tilted.
Yeah, but you know I ignore you when you talk.
Pretty even, like over its stay as a map. We've been seeing pretty close statistics in the matchups. There hasn't been anything too crazy going on.
Well, yeah, I can tell you the exact statistics. Let's have a look. Daybreak. Watch it come up on my other screen. No. Between, what was it, ZVP, we actually have 45% in favor of Protoss. 45.2% win rate for the Zerg. So in favor of Protoss on this map.
Yeah, I mean 45 to 55% within that 5%.
Not enough to really be like one side or the other. It really depends on the strategies used, the players that have played, of course. But Squirtle definitely a very, very strong player, and I wouldn't put it past him to just come out with something that Dongregu hasn't seen before. And it's gonna be interesting to see how it goes, to say the least. Hasn't pylon blocked though.
You're trying to balance something like that. If it's within 5%, usually say that's good enough. Because it's going to vary over time, especially on a map. So you see both players actually getting their expansions down. Squirtle didn't really put much effort into blocking that hatchery, surprisingly enough. Dongregu was able to get that down relatively quickly while we were busy looking at map statistics. And that's actually very curious, because I mean, as a two-player map, you are going to be able to delay that a little bit longer than that if you really want to.
Of course, there's just a question in the chat, why are Koreans always, like, the Korean age? It's actually because the Korean age counts when you actually conceive, so it's always nine months ahead of the rest of the world, because they just want to be special. And we'll let them because they're gods at StarCraft. But, looking here, it looks like we are going to see straight into Cybercore.
Yeah, curious what he's going to follow this up with. He does have the second gas down already. There's an Overlord just floating around, looking for any stray pylons, get an idea of where he might have to scout out later on for hidden tech, but there's nothing down just yet for Squirtle, so he's going to park himself over here on the left side of the map so that Dongregu can send him in later on to try and catch some of those structures as they're coming in. He was able to do that quite nicely against Parting, where initially it looked like he wasn't going to get that scout off, and then he turned around and scouted
this Overlord
every
getting
single
really close to
that
the
he had.
cannon there for a second. Cybercore is done, so we could see a Stalker coming out very quickly. We do. He is going to chase down this Overlord, and Dongregu is not going to be able to get him away. As I was showing on camera before, there is actually a quick third coming up over here for Dongregu as well.
Yeah, and just waiting to see what Squirtle is planning on doing. He's chrono-boosting out this Stalker. Don't see extra gateways.
Well, he really just wants to kill that Overlord here. There's that Zealot that was in the middle of the map just chasing things down. Not a good thing to have happen to you, especially. He's got 2 more Overlords in the way, so he's not really going to pick a supply capped, but it does mess with your build order to lose that Overlord. And look at that, we have this Probe and the Zealot trying to get rid of these Zerglings. The Probe does live, of course, but just barely.
That is actually a lot of Zerglings. Nice surround on the Zealot. He's not going to go for the Micro. He's going to take it down, only really losing the 1 Zergling. So
needs to get the Stalker in position over here, though. There we go, does complete. No, he's actually going to run out and try and deal with these Zerglings. There is no Zergling speed on the way here, Railcoon, though. He's completely forgone it, going straight into that Roach Warren. just to stop any kind of mass gateway timings to come in after this. Of course, we do see the 3 gateways here. +1 is finishing up for him as well. There's a pylon that Dongragu hasn't seen, and this is going to be very dangerous. It is so close to his 3rd base. This is what Dongragu needs to find and shut down, otherwise he's going to be in a world of hurt. Of course, we do only have 4 gateways here for Squirtle. He hasn't actually gotten it for any more, so not really committing to this too much unless he puts a lot more gateways down in a second.
Yeah, I'm just watching this. It's very curious that he delayed the Zergly speed here a little bit, because that's a little bit longer than what you normally see a Zerg player delay it for. And then he didn't even really use that to get extra roaches out. So I guess he was just trying to use that to get a few more drones out, not have to worry about it as quickly. You can see that it's already about a 1/3 of the way done. He has scouted out this pylon, but not before a few zealots have popped out. But the spine crawler and roaches will make this relatively safe for now.
Yeah.
And we see that Squirtle's just sitting on the 4 gateways. Twilight Council is on the way. So could easily see a transition into some form of 8-gate or 7-gate with heavy
that Twilight
tech.
Council is quite late compared to a lot of the other timings. We do see these sentries coming across as well. Of course, he still has that pylon there. Lots of roaches in production for Dongragu. He's got 3. He's actually continuing to drone. I think he's feeling a little bit safe against this attack. He will actually be able to pick off this pylon, of course.
It doesn't look like he got it for the upgrades, because his Forge is just still sitting there, not going for the +2. And he's not actually using the Twilight Council for any upgrades in the Twilight. So there we go, he is actually going to go for the Blink and the +2 at the same time.
He's actually going for a very quick 3rd. Has been instantly scouted by Dongragu. The great game sense there coming from him. Because we have a Macro Hatch in the main, a 2nd Roach Warren. Now, I've only ever seen this on purpose once, and it was by Chef, to get Tunneling Claws and Roach Speed very, very quickly. But this is way too late for that to be actually happening. So, we'll see. Actually,
I'm looking at my keyboard and trying to figure out what he might have been able to misclick to the Roach Warren, and that's the problem, is the R is actually pretty hard to hit on accident. So, I don't know. And it's right next to his other Roach Warren, so he had to look at it to drop it.
Yeah.
So he could still be going for the quick speed. Yeah, he is.
Hey, haha.
I mean, with that placement, it had to be intentional. Just, I mean, look at that. There's no way you're going to put it there, right next to the one on accident. And he's going for the double upgrades out of his evolution chamber. And he's got the 3rd base. Macro Hatch just finished. He's just going to go for what looks like a really strong Roach timing attack. And, well, Squirtle hasn't dropped the extra gateways just yet. There's a Twilight Templar Archives on the way, actually.
Overseer has seen everything.
On the 4 gates. Okay, there's 2 more at his 3rd, so he's going to be up to 6 in a second, but is that going to be enough to hold this off? It's going to be close. I don't think so, though. He needs more gateways.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested into the thought process behind this for Dongragu, because he's only really gaining about 40 seconds out of this Roach Speed. Like, having both of them done. Like, well, technically it's a lot more than that, but the difference in the timings here is 40 seconds. I wouldn't be... For someone like Dongragu, I'd expect more of a refined builder to have the 2nd Roach Warren down a lot quicker. But either way, it is going to help him out here, because we do not have an Observer here, Railcoon. We have no Observer at all. And this is going to be very painful for Squirtle. He's got that 1 cannon, but if that can be...
He's making robotics, though, because the Tunneling Claws gives a graphic on the roaches.
It does.
That's another thing, is that what you might want to do if you're doing that is go for the Roach Speed first and then have the Tunneling Claws finish afterwards.
Yeah.
Because then if you scout it...
Oh, sorry to cut you off here, Railcoon, but he's coming in. He's actually going to pick off one of these cannons. He's coming in on 2 angles at once, and Dongragu actually backing off with his right-hand roaches. What are these going down here? There's the... Sorry, there's the force fields, does burrow underneath those and gets away. 188 supply to 110. Remember, that is in roaches, so it isn't actually as big as it seems.
But these roaches are coming in from the front door at the same time. Again, trying to get a good pincer, but there are some stalkers over here trying to hold this off. But look at this. You can see that Squirtle's having a hard time microing this on both ends, as the stalkers in the front are taking heavy losses while he's force fielding the roaches at the 3rd base. Now he's actually going to be able to swash Squirtle in between both ends of the roach army. The stalkers blinking in, Blink finishing at pretty good timing. But look, you can see Donry continually burrowing under the force fields. This is really difficult for Squirtle to deal with. He does actually have the Observer out now, but these roaches have done a lot of damage in the meantime.
It doesn't really matter because look, Gonregu has continued to be maxed. 12 roaches in production, 2-2 on the way as well. Looking at the army supplies, it's 117 to 27. Gonregu looks good to take this one down here, especially since Squirtle isn't actually able to control his units properly due to the positioning of Dongregu's roaches. He's actually completely stopped this third base. He's actually left roaches there to finish it up, and he's getting a perfect positioning on a lot of these stalkers. Squirtle trying to blink as best he can, but there's the Immortal as well. But there's just so many roaches coming across the map, Railcoon. Oh my god.
Yeah, that Immortal just got completely focused. He had nowhere to go because he kind of popped out in sort of a wall off in the buildings. So there's no real way for him to micro away and get safe.
Yeah.
And
fourth base
that's
going
the
down
issue
as well.
is that, like, Dongregu caught Squirtle trying to tag a little bit aggressively. He was skimping on his gateway count a little bit. And that way, just because of that right there, he really just didn't have the tools necessary to deal with this roach attack. And Dongregu, with the third base and that macro hatch, he got this timed out really nicely.
He's just got so many roaches, he's going to keep going.
He hasn't really dropped below 160 supply this entire time. He's been macroing very effectively, and he's stockpiled a lot of resources at the same time, so he can actually start teching now. There are investors on the way. This Immortal has been in the back just pounding on the roaches, but it doesn't matter. He's going to die anyways. At 30 health, the roaches still continue to stream in. Dongregu's still not falling below 170 supply this time with this attack, even though he just burrowed right in on top of that army. Yeah. You can see more and more roaches popping out, just completely overwhelming Squirtle.
Yeah, this is going to be very dangerous for Squirtle. He might clean up this final batch of roaches, but the damage taken is just way too much. 16 roaches in the supply for Dongregu. Look at that, he's got just so many coming across. 170 supply to 70. He's actually doing quite a good job of focusing down the weakened stalkers. But it's just a constant stream of roaches. It's insane.
Yeah, earlier he didn't go below 160, now he's not dropping below 170. Like, even though he just lost a ton of roaches, he's reproducing them constantly. This last Immortal is desperately trying to hold the line, but it's just not going to happen. Looking at top of these roaches, but he takes down the Immortal anyways. Uh-oh, he might go under 170 supply here unstable. Oh no, he just
nope. Dongregu doesn't go like that. What are you talking about? Actually focusing down the cybernetics core here of Squirtle, and that is just going to be danger zone. He's trying to chase these roaches off. There's just so many roaches, they just keep coming, Railcoon. They don't stop.
It's the Sauron Zerg. Like, literally, this is the closest to what I've seen it in StarCraft 2. If you're not familiar with that, in Brood War, there was a style that July really liked in particular, where you just get yourself to quick 3 or 4 bases, get extra hatcheries, and then you reinforce constantly. The streaming units never stop coming across the map. Yeah. You stay at max supply pretty much the entire time, and that's
the GG.
So there's finally the GG from Squirtle, but Dongregu just did a Sauron Zerg. Like, he never went below 160 supply. That's pretty much how it works.
It's always good. All right, so Dongregu taking his team to 4-1 in the finals here. MVP against Startale, and Startale in a lot of trouble now. They only have 2 players left to come out. They, of course, do have the almighty Bomber to come out after this. Did take down Nest T. And he sits there, man. He will come out and just just go straight through everyone's faces. So, Bomber, July, Ace. I don't think we'll see Ace after that game.
The thing is, like I was discussing earlier, they really like holding Bomber for last. So, we might see Curious before Bomber again, like they did the other day. Even though it would be another Zerg vs. Zerg against Dongregu. They do tend to, in this situation, just hold Bomber and put him in that ace position because it's paid off so many times for them that you just don't go against what works for you. And we'll see if they do it again, because I don't know, Dongregu showed really strong play so far, especially in that Zerg vs. Zerg earlier. That was such a crazy game and he just didn't lose his composure. So I would be kind of scared to send out Curious, but
well,
it's really up to them.
We'll see. Okay, so of the people left, Curious, July, Bomber, 2 out of 3 will probably play. They're their top 3ers. But we'll see. Of course, these games are live. Bear with us while Startale picks their next player, picks their next map, of course. And we'll get into it MVP leading 4-1. And I'm going to go with that guy in chat yet again, because he's always been right anyway. Looks like it is going to be Startale Curious up next.
They haven't hosted yet. You're just going because it's what the guy in chat said.
Yep.
Okay, they hosted. Drum roll, please.
I win. Yay.
Yep, it's Curious.
It is.
And that just comes down to the fact that, you know, holding Bomber for their ace has worked out positively for them so many times in the past. Even though it's kind of like tempting to send Bomber first, because this situation of sending Curious against Dongragu might be a little bit worrisome. It's like, you know, it's worked for us in the past. This is the finals. Let's not go against what's worked previously.
Yep. Curious. Curious becoming a very, very talented Zerg at this point in time. Colors. Yes, I spell colors differently to you. Before you pull that one out.
Startale is red.
Yep.
Dongragu is blue.
Yep. I got it. Of course, Crossfire is going to be the map. Interesting choice coming out here from Curious. Of course, this is map choice. We're going to have another ZVZ coming up. We haven't had ZVZs the entire tournament, and then 2 in this one.
Crossfire is an interesting choice for Zerg vs. Zerg. This is kind of a Baneling map, though. Like, it's tough to do with the position that the natural is in. It's tough to defend your ramp and the natural if you go for quick expansion or quick roaches. So I kind of see this being another Zergling Baneling war, at least in the early stages.
Yeah, very true. All right, let's get this going. Okay. Why is my overlay not leaving? Go away. There we go. Alright, welcome back everyone. Game number 6 here between MVP and Startale. We are going to have Dongragu against Curious. And we did double check these colors before the game started, just in case. It is going to be MVP's Dongragu as our blue Zerg down the bottom left. And of course Startale Curious at the top right as our red Zerg. Now, this is a very interesting matchup to me here, Railcoon. Of course, this map, interesting choice by Curious. Obviously knows what he's doing. That kid has been becoming such a beast lately. He started to show a bit of potential back in June, July-ish, when I was over there. Had a good chance to speak to him while I was there as well. He's a very emotionless player. I used to sit there and go, why does he look just deadpanned and looking so weird on screen? It's because he just tries to block everything out except the game. And it's been working for him. He's come out, he won Code A over Oz in very convincing fashion. He's done well in Code S as well. So, anything can happen in this game here, Railcoon.
Basically, you're saying he's a killing machine with no emotion at all.
That's the one.
So, we'll see. Like, it's a very interesting choice. It looks like Dongragu might actually be going hash first here. Yeah, and so will Curious. And it's always an interesting choice here, especially on the 2-player map, where there is going to be the possibility of, you know, somebody trying that 6-pool Baneling.
Well,
it's pretty much, if you go hash first, it's going to be really troublesome.
Yeah.
So,
but we, of course, do see double expansions coming out.
Yeah, so they both decided that they're going to go for the hatch raise. They don't think that their opponent would do that at this stage in the tournament. And they both read it correctly, so we're going to be moving into normal stages of Zerg vs. Zerg at this point. It kind of resets, probably goes right back to Zergling Baneling. But with the fact that they both went straight to the hatchery, this could be like the unwritten truce in the early game. Sometimes this happens in Zerg vs. Zerg, with both players just skip the Zergling Baneling and they go straight to the roaches. Or they just macro up and you see mutas really fast. So we'll see. Even though this, just analyzing the structure of this map, it looks like it would probably be a Zergling Baneling map. Sometimes the players just decide to skip it.
Yeah. Alrighty, so It'd be interesting to see if how many spine crawlers we see at the front here, because of this map positioning, it's very difficult to defend any kind of aggression against the natural, as well as covering your ramp. A lot of the times you see people run past there, but we do have Donregu. Oh, sorry about that. Whoa, what's going on? Can you take over? I'm having hiccups.
Yeah, Donregu actually going for the really quick Zergling speed. He got his gas down faster than Curious did. But it looks like Curious is going to be doing the same. His Zergling speed will be actually pretty significantly delayed. If you look at that, it's 25 in-game seconds. And like we were talking about the previous Zerg vs. Zerg, that can translate into a very big difference. If there's any sort of a Zergling fight going on, when that Zergling speed finishes for Donregu, he will get an immediate advantage. His Zerglings will get better surrounds. They will get a few extra hits off as they position themselves better. And then he will actually be able to chase down the Zerglings of Curious if he tries to back off. But look at this. We see that Donregu does actually choose to go straight into the Roach Warren, while Curious does drop the Baneling Nest. So we do have a slight deviation. This is going to be putting Donregu on the defensive here. He's got a Queen already parked on his ramp, and he's just going to have to hold off the aggression from the Zergling Baneling. But if he gets enough Roaches out, walls off the ramp here, gets some Spine Crawlers down, then he will be in a really good position. But he has to get that far without taking damage.
Yeah. Then it does turn into a little bit of a micro war, because if those roaches are clumped up and get surrounded by zerglings and the banelings roll through, it actually does a lot of damage depending on how closely they're packed. 7 roaches on the way, of course, here for Donregu.
I think that the delayed gas from Curious is actually hurting him quite a bit, because you see the Baneling Nest only just finished, and that's much later than he'd want to actually be able to punish these roaches. The fact that Donregu went for these roaches was actually pretty far ahead on the gas there is actually paying off really nicely for him. And the fact that he's actually quite safe right now. He's going to have so many roaches, he should be able to hold this off without too many issues. He can set up a double wall of roaches on that ramp. We have 2 Banelings coming in from the bottom. Donregu will be able to snipe those with the roaches. They do absolutely nothing. The Zerglings from the front get completely deflected as well.
And here comes a counterattack.
How the delayed gas from Curious really hurt that. There were just so many roaches, it did absolutely nothing. More Banelings trying to come in. These ones will get denied as well. And now the roaches are halfway across the map for the counterattack already.
Yeah, we got a lot more Banelings coming in. He doesn't have the Baneling count he really wants to try and put a lot of hurt onto these roaches, but he will be able to deal with the Zergling numbers behind there. But look at this, Donregu actually going straight past, and here come the Banelings. They're not trying to explode, but look at that, with Zerglings into the main, Curious has to chase those down. The Spine Crawler is doing a nice job against these roaches. The Queen is there as well. Zerglings coming in at the same time. They're still in the main though, and Curious in a lot of trouble. He's losing that Queen in the main, but he is deflecting these roaches down at the natural. And oh my god, as just the second before I moved the camera there, a nice Baneling hit takes out those Zerglings, and Curious in a good way at the moment.
Yeah, that was a nice hold by Curious. An epic Baneling in the main, really minimizing the damage he's taking up there. He's actually up on drones right now, and a nice hold with the Zerglings protecting those Spine Crawlers at the natural as well. If you look, the worker count is 29 to 24 in his favor. Both players throwing in a few drones after that big engagement. They both know they're going to be sitting back. Donregu not really able to keep up the aggression after that. He's going to be put back onto the defensive position. And we'll see. Like, this is actually a really good position for Curious to possibly go into a Muta transition. And that could work out really, really well for him, because look at how many Overlords are spread out across the map for Donregu. Mutas are really good when your opponent tries to cover the map, and Overlords like this, because it completely denies them vision. It can supply block them very hard. And we do see a layer on the way and 2 more extractors, so it looks like that's exactly what Curious is doing right now.
Of course, we haven't had an Evo chamber, so we can't have the +1 attack for the roaches to help out immensely with those Zerglings. Donregu has thrown down his own Baneling Nest to try and negate that. But oh, nice surround on a couple of those roaches. Does back off because of the wing reinforcements, though. And he's actually going to have all 4 gas here. Relka and Lair is on the way a lot quicker. Actually, Donregu hasn't started a Lair at all. So like you were saying before, a Muta transition, we did actually see Curious use Mutas against Nest T. And because of the positioning on a lot of the units here for Donregu, he's going to be in a lot of trouble if that does indeed happen.
Yeah, there's Overlords everywhere. There's at least 5 of them off in very vulnerable positions. Curious has seen most of them with his units or his Overlords, so he will be able to hunt them down very effectively. and that will put Dongrigu very heavily in the red supply. It also takes away all of his map vision. He's probably going to take some drone losses as well, since he has no evolution chamber to throw down any emergency spore crawlers. This could be really bad for Dongrigu. There goes the Spire for Curious, so it is the Mutas. He's going to start saving up the resources, and if he can defend this and save up enough resources for a good number of Mutalisks, this is going to turn very bad for Dongrigu very quickly.
Yeah, and these Lings just trying to chase down Dongrigu, who's in the middle of the map. He is down 30 supply, of course, with those roaches being a very big bump in that. And Curious is starting to bank as much minerals as he can. Looking here, he's got quite a few spine crawlers at the front of his base. He's actually split them up just in case any banelings roll through. But that is a lot of roaches, and here's the thing, Railkun, if those mutas aren't out in time, right as Dongrigu leaves, as I'm about to mention this, he could just kill him before those mutas come out. He's got 14 more Lings on the way, and he's going to have to be very careful looking at the Baneling count. There is no Banelings at all here for Dongrigu. He did get the Baneling nest, though. I'm surprised.
He's going to throw down some more spine crawlers at this point, because he's trying to save as much resources as possible. He's playing a dangerous game
there
here,
we go.
But if it works, it's very dangerous, but it'll pay off quite nicely if he can get away with it. But that is so many Banelings from Dongrigu. Oh my god, I think he might have played this a little bit too risky on trying to bank resources for the Mutalisks.
Nice hits on the Banelings, though.
Trying to do as much damage as possible, but here comes the mass Banelings gonna break right through everything. This drill line is completely demolished. Curious tried to save too many resources for the Mutalisks. Didn't have enough defenses, and Dongrigu hit him at the perfect time. Oh my god. That timing from Dongrigu was absolutely amazing.
Oh my god, all the drones just being decimated. The Spire is gone. 11 mutas popping out, of course. He could go for a base trade if he wanted to with these mutas. He can just send them straight over to Dongrigu's base because he, of course, doesn't have the Evo chamber yet. He's only got those 2 queens. Does have a third one on the way, of course, as he's trying to defend, but it looks like he's going to stay home. But that is going to give Dongrigu the time he needs to really defend this.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty much
1,
over
2 spore crawlers. Any more coming out? Doesn't look like it. He's killed both hatcheries. Dongrigu looking like he's going to take it 5-1 here. As long as he can defend the counterattack by these mutas, like even somewhat efficiently, he will be extremely ahead. 6 drones left for Curious. All of them killed by Banelings. Oh yeah. Go mutas, so go! 5 spore crawlers. Like, yeah, if I was Dongrigu right now, I'd be planning like 20 spore crawlers.
It looks like everything's going to be in the hands of Bomber here in a second. As first spore crawler is done, there's 2 queens here trying to buy some time for the other spore crawlers to finish. There we go, there's 3 spore crawlers at the natural, 4th one on the way just to be safe. There's 4 already in the main.
Yeah.
And now
there's the GG. Dongrigu, 5-1. Looking unstoppable here tonight here, Railkun, but we all know who's next. The guy who took out Nesty.
The final boss.
The final boss of Startale. Can Bomber bring it back, though? That's going to be the question. Can he win 5 games in a row to bring this one back to a win for Startale? It's going to be a very uphill battle, but of course, we don't actually know if it's Bomber, but that's just going to be a very safe bet as we go through. Nicely played by Dongrigu, though. If he was maybe 20 to 30 seconds later, no. Good night.
No.
Because he could have targeted down the Banelings very nicely with those mutas. Okay, so we'll be right back because...
So there was a very Razor's Edge game. Curious was playing a very dangerous game, trying to save up extra resources for the Mutalisks.
Yeah.
And then Dongrigu just barely hit the timing to punish it. And if the timing on any of those... anything involved there had been changed by about 10 seconds, it would have gone in a different way. So very, very close game. Very entertaining for high-level Zerg as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next game started already. I love it when there's no downtime. And...
You need to stop saying started when you mean hosted.
It has started.
Heart attacks. Like,
yes, that's exactly what I planned. Anyway. Alrighty. Right, so now in the game, it is going to be dual site for the next map. Interesting. Can you opt me in the chat?
And it's Bomber.
Yeah, of course it is.
We knew it was Bomber.
Can you opt me in the chat, please?
I thought I did already. Hang on.
Yep. Alright, so it is going to be Dongregu versus Bomber for Startale versus MVP. This is actually the ace match here.
It's not the ace match. We're down to the ace from
Well, yes,
Bomber.
technically. Bomber must win.
This is a game you'd expect for the ace match, Dongregu against Bomber. Like,
yeah, it actually is. This is what you expect to happen in like game 11, but no, it's going to happen in game number 6. Actually, no, 7. Sorry, 7. I need to update this overlay.
so I had on the IRC topic, I had 5-1 typed out, and just waiting for the GG, and then I hit enter on accident early, and I was like, no, no, no.
All right, countdown has started. The game is starting now, Railcoon. Happy? What the fuck? Oh my god, why so many obs? There we go. Oh. Okay, let's get this started. And welcome back everyone to MVP versus Startale for the KSL Team League 2012 opening ceremonies, and it is going to be the finals, of course. MVP up 5-1 here. Dongregu tearing things apart at the moment, and he's actually gone through quite a few strong players as well to get here, but the final boss for Dongregu is right here. It is going to be Startale's Bomber. Bomber taking out Nesty in IM versus Startale to give Startale the win. 6-5 over them in the semi-finals. Of course, you can check out all the VODs of those on youtube.com/FXOpenEsports if you feel like. The VODs for this will also be going up there in a couple of hours' time after the broadcast. But I am unstable, joined here by Railcoon today. ZVT, Dongregu versus Bomber. This feels like the last match of the night to me. Because that's where it should be.
It's like that Bomber versus Nest team match, but it was 5-5. This is what you'd expect to be happening in that situation. But yeah, MVP, they went with the gamble of sending Dongregu out early, and oh my god, did it ever pay off? We were talking about it earlier, how some of the teams have started to realize that getting that win streak early on is just really advantageous in this format. And well, yeah, I wasn't expecting him to go 5-0.
Well, yeah, Dongregu did stop a lot of the snipes that came through for him. Like, King Kong was definitely designed to take out Dongregu. Wow. Almost did it.
That game was really, really close. There were a lot of points where it looked like King Kong might take it, and then just one Baneling kept him alive. And then it kept happening on both ends of that. But this is actually a really troublesome situation for Bomber, because he has to go through a really good player like Dongregu. And then you got to think the next person they're going to send out is Finale, who's been destroying every Terran player in this tournament. Yeah,
that is very true. I want to see that one too now. Now I'm torn between who I want to win. Anyway, something I was noticing before, Dongregu actually forced 2 SCVs to come off the mineral line to chase away just the one. And there's the expansion by Bomber. As we did see him against Nesty, he played extremely well. Nesty went for an early Roach Baneling bust. Did quite a bit of damage, but then made ultras and decided to lose.
Oh my god, it's so frustrating. I remember I was sitting there and I was going, I'm scared, unstable. And you're like, why? Because he's making ultra lists.
Yeah, but we do see the reactor on the barracks, of course, with that early gas, going to give him the opportunity to get quite a few Marines out. At the same time, double Queen coming up from Dongregu, so it's pretty much standard openers from both these guys in their specific styles. Dongregu definitely playing extremely well recently. The same for Bomber. Bomber did have a little bit of a slump, and there was one game where I was like slapping myself to make sure I wasn't asleep when I can't remember who he was playing, but he was trying to kill spine crawlers with like 12 Hellions when he could have run right past. But thankfully, he has lifted himself back up to where he used to be. He's played phenomenally in the last couple of times we've seen him here in the KSL. And
yeah, and for everybody who's hoping that Bomber might do his crazy Marine build, it doesn't look like he's doing it, because he does have Factory on the way. Sorry. I'm sorry.
No.
I know it's an entertaining thing to watch, but it's not something he's going to do in this situation against Dongre-gu. But he's the last man standing for his team.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, double spine crawler here by Dongre-gu. I haven't seen this particular stuff in actually quite a while. Like, even though, like, the Hellion openers are still very common, a lot more Zergs are going into the wall off with, like, one spine crawler or extra queens, things like that, so...
This is actually a really good start from Dongre-gu. He's got the third queen out very early, using, actually that's a fourth queen now, using that to double spread the creep. He's got the 2 spine crawlers, and this is a really early start to the creep spread, and Bomber, once he sees this, is probably going to focus in with these Hellions and trying to deny the creep tumors, as we see quite a bit. But even if he does that, the creeps are going to be spread quite nicely. Usually when you come in with the Hellions to stop the creep spread, you can keep it right at their front door. But Dongre-gu is going to get this pretty much down to his third before the Hellions even arrive. So this is actually pretty nice. Bomber's going to have to stop and think about even throwing down a scan to kill some of these creep tumors when the Hellions arrive, because he doesn't want the creep to be this far spread out this early.
It's actually going into the Marauder Hellion build here, Railcoon, as we talk about all this down here at Dongre-gu's base. So this is going to be interesting. He is getting more spine crawlers. At the same time, we don't actually we see the extra double gas
down.
He's
a really fast stim as well with this. Like, you can see it's halfway done. So he is actually going for the very aggressive style of this. The Marauder Hellion, you can see it as kind of a poke, where sometimes they just come forward with the Marauders and Hellions, try and catch you completely off guard. And then there's this variation with the really fast stim, where you're actually just trying to kill them.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like Bomber's going for. So this could catch Dongre-gu slightly off guard. But he has a third spine crawler, actually. So it looks like he has a pretty decent read on this so far. The extra queens are going to help out as well. Creep spread is ridiculous up to this point. To be honest, I mean, look at that.
Yeah, and here we go. This one Zergling is going to spot the Marauders, though, and now he's going to have a very good idea on what's happening. But link speed is only about halfway through here at the moment for Dongre-gu. He's going to have an annoying time dealing with this, especially since the architecture of this base. And look at that, as I said, that Dongre-gu is actually repositioning his spine crawlers. And here come the Hellions down behind the trees and actually get spotted. There's 3 spine crawlers there. He might actually loop around with his Marauders, and that looks like exactly what he's doing. But look here, Railcoon, he's got almost 5 transfuses. Look at that, and he's also putting more spine crawlers down.
Speed 10 seconds away. It looks like he will be able to hold on.
Oh, but Bomber taking advantage of those spine crawlers being rooted. Transfuses everywhere, and look at that, the Marauders in front of the Hellions. SCVs coming in to repair at the same time. All those Zerglings just absolutely roasting, and the Marauders targeting down the spines as well. More transfuses trying to save them here. And Bomber actually looks very in a good position to take this one down. 2 queens, very low health. Still has 2 spine crawlers to deal with at the north, but he does have 4 Marauders left. They do have stim, of course. Drones being pulled now as well by Dongre-gu. He is in a lot of trouble here, Railcoon. The last spine crawler is getting transfused yet again, but it looks like he is going to hold this off. Does get a surround on these Hellions, and they barely escape here. And even though Dongre-gu, like, there's still Hellions. So many Hellions.
Left, if he can take out that last Marauder, then he can try and deal with these Hellions. But it is going to be very close. Another queen coming down, trying to get us around. 2 more Marauders come to join the party. And it looks like Bomber is going to be able to still keep this aggression going, but the Marauders get left behind and taken out. Now with the 3 queens, it looks like Dongre-gu will hold. It looked very dangerous there for a moment for Dongre-gu, but Bomber is actually being forced to back off. He's making another command center to try and take advantage of this, but he went for the very, very aggressive form of that. He wanted to do more damage than what he did there, and all he really wound up doing is taking out spine crawlers, Zerglings, and queens. He didn't hurt the workers that much. Look at the workers kill tab. It's actually 8-8, completely even.
But at the same time, Bomber has got his third base already 3/4 of the way done, putting on more racks here, of course. Engineering bay for upgrades. 2-2 on the way here for Dongre-gu as well, so Bomber is going to be behind in that. Oh, don't you dare lag. At the same time, so these guys are fairly even after all of that.
Yeah, which is, it's good for Bomber, because normally with that strategy it either fails or like succeeds spectacularly in one direction or the other. So we actually did manage to do that and come out in the middle ground, so he's just going to transition into the mid game quite smoothly. He's got his third command center up actually pretty quickly. Dongragu choosing to put his third base over here at the left side of the map. It's an interesting decision, but he doesn't feel comfortable trying to defend the 6 o'clock position against the Hellions, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure why he chose to go over here. There's no more gold bases on this. If it was the old version of the map, I'd say he was trying to leverage his way over to the top left gold, which can be slightly easier to hold sometimes.
Yeah, Dongragu did. Both of these guys just checked their opponent's thirds, but Dongragu is actually going for a third over here on the left-hand position, and it will work out quite well for him at the moment. But I think Bomber's going to be aware of something strange going on. At the same time, is he going to take his regular third or down here? Where is that orbital command going, or is it just going to float there? He has spotted this third, of course. It's just going to sit there.